Naked Shamanism. Welcome to With Insights Radio. I'm your host, Iggy Garcia. I will take you on a journey across the universe through shamanism, metaphysical, and holistic. So sit back and relax and enjoy the show. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Had a little knock on the door there. See what was happening. Trying to figure out here a little bit what's going on with my live feed on another channel. So anyhow, just talk a little bit. It's been 4 years today that my father passed away, and it's been kind of an interesting journey how that all played out. And I just made it in time to see him at the cemetery. He's not there, but his body is there. But regardless, I'm in that place where I understand that his crossing is part of all of our journeys. We're all going to have this journey, and that we're all going to go into that space and that place where we're all going to feel, what we need to feel, and going to do it's going to be asked of us. We live to live, we live to die, whatever you want to say. There's all those sayings. But, I was cooking soup today at home, and this is just, half an hour ago, maybe. And, that's an hour now. And then I'm cooking, and I'm cutting the vegetables, the onions, and then down to the garlic. And, we have the little restaurant bell, the bell that they have for the restaurants. We have one of those bells here from the restaurant before we close, and I have it on the counter. And I kid you not, that bell rang. I'm not joking. The bell rang. My wife heard it. I looked at her. She looked at me. And we were going, that's Papi Gino. That's my dad, Papi Gennaro. He rang the bell. I was like, are you kidding me? I'm like, no, I'm not kidding you, because if you believe in anything and you're connected in the spiritual realms of stuff, and you're connected to the metaphysical, the holistic, the 3D, the 5D, the 4D, all these different aspects of connection to source, then you'll understand that his arrival in that moment was just acknowledgement to say, hey, I'm in a good place. I'm doing good. And thanks for remembering me. Thanks for honoring me. I lit him a candle, and I lit a candle to my ancestors today to help guide him through that threshold to go into the space with the ancestors. His journey is his journey. We're going to continue journeying as we go through this stuff, as we move through this space of energy and this unknown spaces that we go to. But it was really cool to get validation from him today that he rang that bell, and he acknowledged that he was okay, and that he saw us and he recognized us. And I thought that was really cool. And some of you may believe this kind of stuff, and some of you may not. But I'm not here to convince you. I'm not here to convince you or tell you it is or it isn't that way. What I am here to say is be open to the possibilities that these kind of things exist, that these kind of things are possible. You have to believe that, at some level, these things are possible. Because those who have come before us, some of us have seen ghosts, some of us have heard things, some of us have seen apparitions and all kinds of different things, but because they exist, they're real. They're there. These people truly are there. They're there, and they're doing their thing, and they're communicating to us. And the thing is, when they communicate to us, they're talking to us in a way that is different. Maybe they don't speak the words like they used to, but either way, they're still speaking. They're still communicating. They're still doing the things they do. So I wasn't shocked, but it was just kind of like, it was just like, after 4 years of him being gone, And I have recordings of his voice, but I don't hear his voice like I used to hear his voice. His voice is much different now. His voice is in a much different place, much different resonance. And then when I hear his voice, it brings up energies and feelings and memories and kind of different things that we kind of get when we live with somebody so long, for so many years, being part of the family, working with him side by side in the properties, and to be in this moment with him and to share with him was very powerful, and you know, he was my best friend in the aspects of this friendship as you can have with your dad, because he's still your father too. There's that part where he's the parent and you're the child, so that part of him is removed, but yet still we're still friends. But him ringing the bell today, that was pretty cool and that was pretty exciting. So I got into conversation with one of my friends today, and we were talking a little bit about Earth Mother and what we can do to help and stuff. And I'm sure she was on a different trajectory about what she was trying to express. And of course, I'm come from a different trajectory on what I hear and how I interpret what's being spoken. But the thing about the Earth is this: what I do know, okay, um, it goes through humongous big cycles, but these cycles are so big that they're small for the Earth. You know what I'm saying? She's a she's like some billion years old. I believe maybe over 5 billion years old. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe someone can correct me here. But the cool thing about Mother Earth is this: that she goes through cycles, through heat cycles. She goes through winter cycles. And I'm not talking about the four seasons, folks. I'm talking about like dramatic frozen planet stuff. Now, if you've been following anything that I've been posting here, you'll know what I'm talking about. When the axis shift, I posted something about the mammoth. You know how they said the woolly mammoth was, it had its fur because it needed to be warm, but that's not true. I just found out that that's not true. If the woolly mammoth didn't really have, it actually liked warmer weather because they just found some mammoths. Okay. And I thought this was pretty cool. They just found some mammoths and they had died like almost very quickly, very fast. And they can't quite understand and explain how they froze so quickly and so fast. Yeah, because they have all that fur, but that fur is not conducive to holding and retaining the heat that they have. Sometimes you have long hair to also keep you cool. But what they ended up finding was that the vegetation inside the stomach of the plant, it wasn't conducive to the area either. So it's kind of funny how the mother shifts, her axis shifts and can cause completely different weather phenomenons in this country, in this world, and wherever you're from. And this is what is amazing to me, that this can happen. And so they talk about the Earth becoming a big ball of ice for a long period of time, just because the shift of the planetary axis of the planet. And I thought that was pretty fascinating. I thought that was pretty neat and pretty exciting to hear and to read and to connect with and believe that, because I find that the Earth, no matter what happens to us, she always adapts and she'll always become what she needs to become and be what she needs to be. The illusion is that we think that we're so all powerful, that we're all so human, righteously entitled to, walk the earth and use her natural resources to the extent where she doesn't, we bleed her. It's like anything. When it comes to a head, right? You come to a head and all of a sudden, you have two opposing forces meet. But we're not really an opposing force. We're actually a virus living on this planet. We're just like on the skin surface of the earth. And so it was really fascinating to me about how the Mother Earth is very adaptable to her position and to her situation. Humans, on the other hand, yeah, sure, we're adaptable to some degree, but we're not adaptable in the sense in the way that we think we are. We're not as cool. We're not the cool kids in school like we think we are. Okay, in a brush of a wind or a flood or a tornado or a hurricane, we're done. We could be done like that, instantly be just like wiped off the face of the earth. Why? Because we're fragile creatures. We are not designed, to be like this master, race of human beings that dominates the planet. Well, no, we're really freaking fortunate that we are, because of the sheer numbers of us, the sheer number of all of us working together, collaborating together, and doing what we need to do together. This is why we are where we're at, because of that particular situation, not because the Earth. There's this illusion. Okay, so the atmosphere, the ozone. I just saw an article where they talked about the ozone being depleted, right? That was years ago. Now it says, oh, the ozone's almost repaired now. It's almost better because humans did good. We did good. Yeah. We stopped using hairspray and products, and we stopped driving cars. We got to electric cars. We did all these things. No, that's a bunch of crap, man. The earth repaired herself. She knows what to do. Yeah, sure, whatever. Listen, we still pollute the waters. We still pollute the airs. We still contaminate the soils that we live on, because we're so freaking arrogant, and we think we're so smart, and we think we're so better. Okay. And you know what? I'm talking about all of us because we're all complacent. We're all addicted to the lives we have created for ourselves. We're all stuck in these caves that we've created, these homes that we created. Sure, we go outside for a little period of time, and we go for a walk in the woods, and we go see the woods. But that's not natural. Natural is being part of it, living with it, embracing it, and being with it. Sure, you'll have your space to live and hibernate and commune with, but everything else is really superficial when you start to think about it. When you start to look at it and you start to think about it, it's not even real. Yeah, it's real in the moment, and all the labor that you have to put into it to obtain it and to maintain it is just ridiculous when you start to think about it. You work 365 days a year, we'll just say, and then for 2 weeks, you're rewarded a break. You get 2 weeks off that you don't have to do anything. Woohoo! Oh, wow. Is that natural? I don't think so. I don't believe that's a very natural state of being. It doesn't seem natural to me. Maybe I'm confused. Maybe who knows? But either way, it just doesn't feel like it's what we need to be doing. But anyhow, what I'm trying to say is this. As we increase in numbers, we use more resources, right? But eventually what happens is when you start to use resources, the system around us starts to collapse. Listen, we can plant all the trees we want, but they're not going to grow in 5 to 3 years, okay? The trees that we usually knock down and the trees that we destroy take 50 to 100 to 300 years to grow in a mature state of growth. A tree in a mature state of growth is much stronger than a tree in a weaker state of growth. There's purpose to how the trees grow on the planet. The big mother trees protect the little trees, and the little trees become stronger because of the mother trees. We destroy the mother trees, we take away the main source, the teachers of the forest, the teachers of the woods, the teachers of the jungle, and it changes the whole ecosystem. Okay? It's like we don't even realize that as human beings, what we're doing sometimes. We think because we're so grand and we're so smart and we're so intelligent that we're on the precipice of doing amazing things, but not really. We're not doing amazing things. We're lucky to even be able to do what we do. Granted, I there's a lot of controversy between how people see rich people and how rich people see poor people, but yet they all kind of need each other to some degree. They all have to work through a symbiotic relationship of sorts. Rich people don't necessarily just get rich by themselves. Rich people get rich off the backs of the people they employ and the people that they don't pay a lot of money to. But yet, poor people or middle class people have to work for somebody, and they work for people who, of course, who have the money, right? And so they pay them what it's worth to pay them so they can go sell the products that they have. And they have to sell these products in order to pay you. And so, we make fun of Bill Gates. We make fun of Elon Musk. We make fun of Trump. We make fun of all these people. But yet, all the wealthy people in the world, regardless of how much money they have, they still need workers. They still need people. They still need an infrastructure of, a system of working. If that goes away, then their wealth really isn't worth anything. So the illusion is, we all kind of have to work in a combined situation. So it's the same way with the trees, right? The trees are very powerful. The trees have their energy, they have their source in the things that they do. Now, trees are grounded. You touch a tree doesn't mean you're grounded, because the tree is grounded, not you. Your feet touching the soil are grounded. As you touch a tree, you become in communication with the tree, but it's a different type of grounding and communicating. You can talk to trees, man. If you don't know how to do it, I can teach you. That's the kind of work I do. And I have other friends who can teach you. But trees are a very powerful medicine. The waters. And so, I was talking to one of my grandkids one time. They were talking about people who live underwater, because they watched the show Aquaman and they watched the movie. And so they're fascinated. And my grandfather, she goes, "Why don't we see aqua people?" I said, "We don't see them. I'll tell you why, Hita. I'll tell you why. The same way we look up to the stars and we want to go up there, and they say that we can't because that's only for select few people. You can't go up there because, you know what? If you did, you wouldn't be able. You wouldn't know. The illusion is that space is this vast void, okay, of nothing, of emptiness, but still there's a lot of stuff up there. But we haven't even gone to the depths of the waters here in this planet. We haven't even touched places that we can't go because we just don't have the technology to go down there. And who's to say that there isn't an evolved species of humanoids that live deep down in the bottom parts of the ocean? And when they look up, as they see the darkness, because it gets dark, it becomes black, right? You look up and they see the lights, or they see whatever. They don't see anything. But yet there's stories about the dwellers of the the earth dwellers, right? The air breathers. Yet they're up there, right? So these stories are fascinating to me, because I believe that there are people deep down in the ocean that when they look up into the ocean floor, from the ocean floor up, they look up kind of like we look up to the stars, We look up there and we see stars and we see lights, but yet we see nothing at the same time. And yet we don't know where we come from. And we're like searching to know who we are. So these aquatic people who live in the deeps of the earth, places we can't go or reach, or they can't probably come to us either, because it's just the technology is not there, right? Because we can't even go to space, right? Maybe I'm not giving them enough credit and giving ourselves too much credit, but regardless, think about that for a moment. Think about how powerful that is. Those analogies of people living deep in the depths of the earth's waters. And not even talking about people who live in the soil, people who live in the ground, people who live beneath the dirt, who have gone underground because of disasters or wars or whatever. Because we don't know. We think we know stuff, and we think that we're smart, and we're really not as smart as we think. We're only as smart as we've taught and learned to each other, how we've become, and we've gotten to this place in this moment in time. Because we're only as smart as who the people who come before us, the people who've taught us and left the foundation, right? So everything is a system that's designed according to the numbers, the mathematics, even the mathematics, that we've created, is that way. When you think about it, 2 + 2 is 4 because we say it's that. 2 + 2 is not 9 because it doesn't make sense. It's because we made a system. Excuse me. We made a system, and we made something that correlates to this or that. So everything is a programming. It's a program. Everything is a program. We're all part of the program. So the numbers and the mathematics and everything we use are part of the program, because somebody designed that program. And that's what is crazy, You and I can make up gibberish language right now and assign certain things to it and mean something to somebody. We can create a new language with just sounds and beeps and clicks and translate it to whatever language we want, as long as it stays, true to its form. And it could be learned, right? It's like the Klingon language in Star Trek. It's not real, but they made it. They made it real. People speak it. You go to any Comic-Con convention and you will see that there's people who speak Klingon or in other languages. Even in The Lord of the Rings, I think, and a couple other shows, they've created alphabets and languages just for those specific things, and the actors had to learn them. So this is what's really fascinates me. This is the fascinating thing about human beings. We can create all these things, we can do all these things, and yet we can't even take care of the rummage and the shit that floats down into the Pacific Ocean, and it's sitting there piling up, creating an island of plastic and just wasted garbage. I don't care if you're rich or poor. I don't care whatever. We all do it at some point. We've all thrown something out the window we shouldn't have thrown out. We've all done something that we regret. But anyways, so my sister's talking to my wife the other day, and she's telling me she went someplace, and she was, I don't know what the conversation truly was about, but they were talking about, she brought up something about mental illness, because we've had loss in our family, my sister and my nephew, and the conversation got kind of shut down about mental illness, and that this wasn't the place to talk about it. The response was that, well, this doesn't really happen in our group of society of people. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're going to tell me that rich people, okay, are immune to mental illness, and that there's no suicide in wealthy people? That's like, I'm going to call BS right there. It happens in any demographic, any social economic group, okay, where people have a mental illness and they don't feel good about themselves, and they may take their own life. So this crap where you think that you're entitled, that you're an elitist because you don't do that, come on, grow up, okay? Really, such bullshit. I listen and I hear these stories that people tell me, how people see other people, and it's like really saddening. It's saddening because, we're all just trying to make it. Some of us are enjoying the ride. Some of us are just on the ride. Some of us are afraid to get on the ride. Some of us are afraid to get off the ride. But we're on the ride, man. We're here. So the question is, what you going to do? What is your plan for the next hour, 2 hours, 2 weeks, 1 month, next 5 years, next 10 years? What is your goal? What is your plan? What do you propose to do? What do you propose to do for your family? What do you propose to do for yourself? What is it that you would like to accomplish that you haven't accomplished, and why haven't you accomplished it? Why isn't that you're not doing it? Why is it that you're not in the space that you would like to be? And what is it? And who are you listening to? What are you listening to? What are you reading? What are you connected to? Because a lot of it's just having to deprogram the stuff that's in our head. Okay? The stuff that's been put there by us and by other people, mostly by others. And when I mean by others, I'm talking about ancestral traumas, ancestral stuff. Things that your parents carried in their baggage into their baggage of marriage and their baggage of rearing children. You can't even imagine the things that your parents have done and to get to this place they are, let alone 7 generations of people who you carry inside of you. All of us carry 7 generations deep of people inside, genetically, physically, DNA, attitude, emotions, feelings. Sometimes you feel like you're not yourself. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why you don't feel like yourself, because you're not. You are a version of you who is compiled of many other people stacked upon you. And you have programmed that into your children. How you raise your kids and what you tell your kids is programmed into their mind. And they believe what you say because the childs are impressionable. Children are impressionable. A child will be impressionable at a very small age. So however you feed, and they will digest and they will eat. And they will gurgitate and put out to the world what you have taught them. On occasion, there are kids who will fight the program and do well without that, but a majority of them don't. You know, we think that people are lucky. No, there's no such thing as luck where I come from. It's that we create our luck. Oh, but Iggy, how do you create your luck? Well, you do the things that other people aren't willing to do. You do the things that people aren't willing to say. You say the things that aren't said. You say the things that need to be said. That we work so hard to be like everybody else, normal, whatever the hell normal is. I don't know what that is. I don't know. Is normal because we all get up, take a shower, 9 to 5, go to work. Yeah, there we go. That's normal. That's a normal life. That's all I want. I just off on the weekends. I don't know. I'm just saying. But rich people, on the other hand, they could, every day's a Friday for them if they want it to be. Every day's a Monday if they want it to be. Every day's a work week if they want it to be. Every day could be whatever they want it to be, because they have employed you to do the work that they would usually be doing, or hire somebody to do. So you're following me a little bit, right? You're following a little bit. Yeah, like this, because is the earth flat? Am I fat? I don't know. I think I'm a little bit chubby. Anyway, but I'm flat when I lay on my back. Anyhow, so is the earth flat? I'd have to say no. Because that would mean, why would the earth be flat and everything else be flat unless it's a disc, right? If it's disc, fine. Then we would have, in the eclipses, we'd have a line hitting the earth, I would think, as it passes through the eclipse moments. So there has to be a shape to it. No. For now, I'm going to say the earth is not flat. There are flat moments about the earth. Maybe that's better. We have moments where we feel the earth is flat because it doesn't seem like it goes anywhere, or just kind of goes there, because our little minds can't conceive that this thing is this big. And, you know, thinking about the earth being flat, think about the earth spinning. What is it? 33,000 miles in a 24-hour cycle. It's spinning, right? And then, but it's spinning in a way that the sun's hitting it, right? This is really confusing. And then it's spinning around the sun. All the planets go around the sun, right? So imagine going that fast in space. You're moving. You know, you can't even fathom that. And that's what causes gravity and keeps us on the planet so we don't go flying off. It's a miracle we can stay on here and be able to just not go and catapult into space. But anyway, let's see. It is flat Antarctica on the continent. I don't know. I've never been to Antarctica, but if you think it is, then it is. But quite frankly, I don't know. I only know what I know, right? We only know what we know. And that's my point. And that's what I'm trying to get at. That's what I'm getting at. Is we only know what we know, and we only know what we've been programmed. Is the earth flat? Well, maybe it is flat. Does it matter if it's flat? I mean, I guess my point is, if the earth is round or flat, does it really freaking matter? The point is, what are you going to do while you're on the flat or round earth, whatever you want it to be for you? What is your goal? What would you like to accomplish? Or is it just going to go through life going, oh, it's flat, it's flat, it's flat as earth? Would you like to accomplish something while you're on the flat earth or the round earth? Would you like to gain wealth? Would you like to be poor? Would you like to be rich? Because if you're poor on a flat earth, you're going to be poor on a round earth. So you got to decide, what would you like to do while you're on the earth that you've created in your mind and you want. So I don't know. For me, it's irrelevant. I don't care if it's round or flat. It doesn't really matter. It's what I do while I'm on it and what I'm accomplishing and what I would like to see happen. What I would like to see happen is us to be more proactive and seeing how we can all get along and live together and do better instead of fighting one another. We have moments of peace. We have moments of tranquility. We have moments of this or that. But then we have moments of just a shit whole kind of crap that happens, you know? We fight wars. We fight over natural resources. We killed indigenous people for their lands. We've done all kinds of crazy stuff. We've enslaved uh, blacks, Hispanics, indigenous. We've enslaved, indentured servant people. You know, it's been all through history that there have been slaves. And if you want to talk about God, God is one crazy mofo, okay? And I don't want you guys to get upset with me, but when you read the Old Testament, God's kind of nasty. God's kind of mean. God's kind of rough. He's kind of like that uncle that's really upset about everything and doesn't give a shit about nothing. But I don't like that. Just kill them all. You know, that happens. Listen, if you're a supreme being, this is the way I look at it. This is my little human mind, okay, conceiving, going, if you're a supreme being, why are you in competition with me? Why do you want to destroy me? Why would you want to vaporize me? Why should I bow and pray to you and to prove to you that I love you? Because, you know, you already put the fear in God in me that I'm afraid, but I'm not afraid of God, because you shouldn't be afraid of a God. You shouldn't be afraid of a loving God, a God who gives you, who sustains you and gives you everything. God right here, God, when you look out the window, that's God. When you sit in this chair and you're on this phone, that's God. That's God's hand. That's God's, you know, that's part of him. You know, God is my God. The God I pray to is a loving, caring, creative God. He's like a light. He's like powerful being. The God that I grew up in Catholic school, who is smiting and killing and deceiving and testing you and seeing if you do the right thing. You know, hey, listen, man, you messed up, not me. You made a poor design, not me. So that means that you must not be as perfect as you think you are. Because if you were perfect, you would not have to go through all this rigor mortis and all this stuff that you're going through, because you could have made it right to begin with. But here's the thing: you made and you put free will in us. There you go. That's a good one. I'm going to put free will in you. So if you screw up, okay, if you gave me free will and I screwed up, don't I have the right to screw up? Why do you have the right to smite me and kill me and destroy me? Because I have free will. And because literally you have just not made the things correctly. But yeah, and it gets really more interesting, it gets more crazy, you know, when you start to read. I read about Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc was liberating, you know, her country from the English, and then, you know, she's fought them off, and then eventually they burned her at the stake. They burned her at the stake, you know why? Because she wore men's clothing. There's a video on there on my TikTok there. You can see it. I reposted it. You should watch it. And I was shocked by that. I did not know that. Why? Because they don't teach you that stuff. They don't teach you nothing. Kind of like my flat earth friend here. He could be right. He could be right. The earth could be flat. Until I can get into a spaceship and go outside or calculate, you know, how many shadows fall between point A and point B, I won't know. But regardless of that, I agree to disagree. He agrees, or she, who I'm not sure, but they agree that it's flat. I agree that it could possibly be round and flat all at the same time. It may have flat places on it. It may have round places on it. I don't know. It's kind of like my body, right? I'm a human. I'm a earth mother. There's things that live on me. There's things that live in me. I'm not quite flat. I'm not quite round. I'm kind of, depending how I feel. If I'm curled up, I could be a round earth. If I'm laying flat on my back, it could be a flat earth. So it makes a lot of sense. It does. But yeah, here we go. We're going to keep going, right? We're going to keep going because you know what? You got me in a roll. You guys got me wound up. You got me in a place where, you know, I wasn't going to go, but I'm going to go. So we move into, you know, this thing what we call, you know, Christ consciousness. And then we have the believers of Christianity. Then we have Catholicism, you know, and the Cathars and all the different religions that came as everything evolved. So God, I'm here to say women must be very important. Okay, because you could not be born without a woman. You went to marry young girl, regardless, doesn't make, you know, in those days, everybody was young and died very early. But you went to a woman. You went to a female, virgin at that, and you planted a seed. Okay, you planted a seed there, okay? You planted a seed. This is how important. And hi, everybody. I'm going to say hi, Willow. How are you? You planted a seed inside of a woman, not a man, not a transgender, not some goat or whatever. No, you planted a seed inside of a female woman, a child, and you told her she would have the son of God. Now, before I get too deep into this, there are churches that believe that God is Christ, Christ is the God. I don't believe that because it would contradict everything in my belief system about what God is, what I learned in school. Because if God was already Jesus, then God can't die. So why did he kill himself on the cross or have himself killed? Because it doesn't make sense. Because if you're going to come back from the dead, you're the all supreme being. You can't die. You cannot be destroyed. You cannot be smite. You cannot smite yourself. Some people say, oh, it's blasphemous. It's not blasphemy. It's asking questions. It's asking questions because if you don't ask questions, because I told my mother-in-law, okay, I told my mother-in-law this. Listen, she said, when we die, why do you want to be cremated? That's against the Bible, blah, blah, blah. I said, listen, if God is all powerful, then he can reconstitute every piece and particle and atom or in every molecule of my body and bring it back and present me on Judgment Day. True fact or not fact? Is that a fact or not? Is it or not? Yes, it is a fact, because if he can't, then he's not a supreme being. Oh my God, this gets really deep. Some of you may agree with me, some of you may not. It doesn't really matter, because the majority of you guys who are on here, how many of you guys celebrate Christmas? How many of you celebrate Easter? How many of you celebrate the equinoxes and, and the solstice? If you celebrate Christmas, you're a pagan. Oh no, but it's Jesus' birthday. You're still a pagan because you have a tree. If you have a tree in your house, use a pagan. Okay? A pagan Christian. Okay? And if you're putting things on there, you're even more pagan. All right? Right. And then, hear me out now. Okay? If you put a Christmas tree in your house, you are a pagan. Because that is not a tradition in Christianity. That is a stolen tradition to do that. I'm not going to get into the details about it, but when you start to think about it, when you start to do the research, and I'll tell you why all this happens, is because when you want people to come to your side, you don't tell them what to do. You tell them the benefits of why they do it. It's like I heard something the other day. Someone says, on marketing, they go, well, you don't sell the iPod, okay, to say it has 128 gigabytes. No, you sell the iPod by saying it can hold 120 million songs. That's the benefits. So same thing in church, the benefits. You will go to heaven if you do this and you do that. So, all the things according to the Christianity, those are other people's traditions. That they do this also in the Caribbean. They do this in Peru. They do this all over. The church learned really quick. How do I get people to my side? Well, I have to incorporate some things that they like so they can see the light that we want them to see. It's a business, man. They want you to see, they want you to be part of it, and they want you to be indoctrinated. But the only way they can indoctrinate you is if they allow you to bring some of your stuff along with it. And that's how it works. And then Easter, right? It's a celebration of fertility, right? Easter, eggs and rabbits. I don't know. Sounds kind of pagan to me. But yet we celebrate it, right? We teach our kids to go hunt for little eggs. And we give them little Easter bunnies and stuff. You might be a pagan, but hey, what do I know, right? We're celebrating Jesus Christ. And I love Jesus Christ. Don't get me wrong. Don't think that I don't. I believe in the Lord. I really do. I don't believe in every aspect of him, because I'll tell you why. Even though some people will say it's the word of Christ, it's the word of God. It's that man's got his little paws in there. Okay. This is why man has his little paws in there, and he takes his little paws and he takes things and he changes things, and he decides that things need to be a certain way. Okay. Oh, we don't like that because that might kind of interfere with Christmas. So we're going to move that out. Okay. That might interfere with something else too. This is what happens when you give man too much control, too much power. When you have to say that the priest has blessed an article. You know, my gosh, you could ask for God to bless something, he'd bless it. If God is everything that we think God is, then we really don't need no middleman, no nothing. We just have a direct line. Why don't we have direct line? Why complicate it? Why is it so complicated? Why is it that we have to go through all this complication, all this middleman, second hand, angels, and all this stuff? And I'm not saying they don't exist and why they have all this, but you have to really question and wonder, what's going on here? Who's creating all this? Well, man is. Sure, the Bible is true. There's parts of it that are very true. Then there are some parts that have been doctrine and put to exercise things that they thought they needed in the time. During the times, you don't punish somebody for eating seafood, shellfish. You don't stone somebody because of this or that. I'm not saying that times have changed. The thing, we evolve as human beings. Has the Bible evolved? No, because you know why? Because I'll tell you why it hasn't evolved. It has not evolved. Okay, it has not evolved because the book has been written by people who no longer exist. If those people existed, those people were still kind of in control. It took on a life of its own. It took on a life of its own, and it's become something that no one ever thought it would become. It became very strong, very powerful. Now here, you know, some of you probably like get upset with me, but you know what? I'm not here to please anybody. I'm just here to share ideas and thoughts that may not be true, but may be true to me in my mind's eye, my heart. You know, some of you may think that I'm crazy thinking about this, but no, you really should question things because, you know, it's kind of like monogamy and polygamy, a whole other genre of energy and things that have been changed, you know, but we'll get that on another topic because that's too deep right now because I think I'm traveling too deep down this rabbit hole. But regardless, here we started with talking about Mother Earth. You know, the indigenous people, yeah, they did their crazy shit, sacrifices and killings and stuff. But so they did it in the Bible, man. They did it in the Bible. God even tempted Job to sacrifice his son. And boom, there's a goat. Hey, what's up, man? I don't know why I'm here, but I just appeared. But anyhow, that's my point. My point is that don't get caught up. Be smart. Listen. You know, we've been given free will for a reason. We've been given free will to decide and make decisions for ourselves. Will some of the decisions be good? No, not all the decisions would be good. And not all the decisions would be bad. They would just be decisions. And the experiences we learn from that. That's what we do. We just learn. Because our destiny is this: birth and death. We live, and then we die. You either live to die, okay, or you die to live. But you just live, then when you die, it's not so hard. Listen, life gives us a bunch of shit sometimes. And, you know, a lot of us here, a lot of us know each other. We've had a lot of terrible things happen to us, spiritually, physically, and emotionally. But yet we continue, we keep going on. Why do we keep going on? Because we have to go. We have to move forward. Because if we don't move forward, then we become stuck. And what happens when we become stuck? We start to play the same programming over and over and over again that we're stuck. We get out a little bit. Oh, yeah, I'm out. Ooh, and then someone comes by and says something and we're stuck. But you have to change what's inside. Because what changes inside is your spirit, your soul. Listen, a lot of us have had some tragedies this year. A lot of us have had tragedies the last 2 years. The last 5 years. Those tragedies, as painful as they are, they've made us stronger. Yeah, that sounds like a piece of crap, but it made me stronger. It made me realize one thing. I'm free. And hear me out because this sounds kind of hard. I'm free from the excuses that I had. I'm free from those excuses that I could. You know, I remember my dad used to tell me, you're not going to make it without me. because he was a businessman. He was a very wealthy man. You can't make it without me. You can't make it. And, you know, that programming, subtle as it is, he put it in my head. And then he passed away. And then I struggled with his loss, struggled with my mother's loss, and my teacher's loss, and just losses all in between. My sister lost, my nephew's lost. And then, you know, you wake up one day and you're like, well, you know what? They're in a better place, I hope. But am I in a better place? What will it take to put me in a better place? And then, you know, you just, I'm going to speak for myself here. You just wake up one day and you're like, I'm done. I'm done with this. I was sick, chronically sick, you know, with cough for many years on top of my asthma. It would come and go, it'd flare up depending on, you know, the work I was doing. And, you know, everybody said, don't do this, don't do that, you know. Then eventually I just said, hey, you know, screw it. I'm going to take this stuff. I'm taking ivermectin. I'm going to see what happens, because nothing's helping me. Nothing's working. I'm not willing to do this, but I'm going to do that. And yeah, I took it. And you know what? It helped me. You know, if the Mexican government can give all their people ivermectin, packets, masks, ivermectin, and whatever, they gave it out. They handed it out. Then there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. The first week I felt a little better, nothing, but it's the second week when I felt 10 times better. Then the third, fourth week, oh my God, I'm just like, holy moly, where have I been? I'll tell you where I've been. In the programming, in the old bullshit programming of my mom, my dad, my sister, the thing that my nephew, everybody, all the things that people push on you. And, you know, and you have to learn that you don't push it on them. And here's what happens. You get sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I got sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired. To the point where I'm just like, I'm done. You know, I don't dislike anybody, but I'm not going to put up with anybody's crap. But I'm going to move forward with my life, because you know what? It doesn't matter what people say to me or what they talk about, because that's just their perception of how they feel about themselves, about me. It doesn't mean that that's me. It's just how they perceive me in that moment. In that moment, I may be like that. I may be angry. I may be pissed off and total dickhead to you, but you know what? There's a part of you that needed that. There's a part of you that needed to learn from that. And there's other people who never see that part of me because they don't bring that out of me. They don't share that out of me. It's called cause and effect. A lot of you like to use the word karma, but there's dharma too. So those of you who throw the word karma around need to learn dharma. So when you like to throw dharma and karma, you should do your research, because they go hand in hand. They're not a separate. So cause and effect. You cause an effect, it's cause and effect. You cause something, something's going to affect it. Something's going to happen. That's our version. That's in English. Okay. Cause and effect. You jump off a building, you're going to get cause and effect pretty quickly. Okay. But if because you wrong somebody, maybe the effects don't happen right away, but eventually they might do. But the biggest thing I'll talk to you about is also forgiveness. Learn to forgive yourself and others. It doesn't mean you have to bring them back into your life. It doesn't mean that you have to embrace them. You just have to know that they were where they were, and they are who they are, and they're going to be who they are. It doesn't matter if they had $1 million in their pocket. They're just where they need to be, and that's who they're going to be. People are people. We are human beings. We are love. We are the source. We are created in the image of God. So God is angry. God is laughter. God is joy. God is sadness. God is all those things. So this is what we are learning. So, but you know, we hold on to stuff because it's easy to hold on to. If I gave you a hot coal and I told you to hold on to it, how long will you hold on to it? Would you prove me that you can hold it and smother out the heat? Or would you hold on to it? Let's just say this is a hot coal and I place it in your hand and I say, close your hand. How long can you hold it? Some of you would say, I put that in my hand. Other ones like, I can do it. And they're like, ah. And then eventually you let go because you're done. And then you look at your hand, then it has damage, right? Mostly permanent, right? And that is a reminder that you don't have to hold the hot coal anymore. You don't have to be stupid or feel enticed or feel that you have to do something a certain way. You let go of that hot coal. You release it. But like any trauma, we always remember it because it plays in our head like a recording. Round and around and around it goes. But the cool thing and the sad thing at the same time is we can change it. That's the cool thing. The sad thing is, how are you going to change it? Because even every day you tell the same traumatic story about what happened to you, it changes. Every day you leave a piece out. Every day when you tell somebody what happened to you, you get tired of telling the story. And so you simplify the story. It's not as complex, it's not as deep, or it's diluted, or it's just different. But yet the story is still the story, right? According to how you interpret it. Because I guarantee you, if you go back and tell the story and you share it with somebody else, somebody goes, "Oh, you didn't say that in your story." I've had people say that. "Oh, no, I just left that out because I wasn't, I didn't want to go too deep." "Oh, well, that's kind of important." "Well, yeah, maybe for you, but not necessarily for me." In that moment, that's kind of where I felt. But I don't feel like that anymore. So here's the thing. You don't have to feel how you feel all the time. And when you hold on to that darkness and that fear and that trauma, it's part of you. It's like scars on your body, right? Yeah, you see them. But eventually you look at them and you're like, scar. I have a scar. My mom burned me. I look at it, but it doesn't hold the same energy anymore. It doesn't hold the same frequency like it used to. It doesn't hold that resonance anymore. It doesn't own me. Why? Because I've come to terms and grips with it that my mom, it was an error in her judgment. It was an error in my fault. We came to an agreement. We came to a place where we decided that, yeah, I'm scarred. You see? You can see my hand. She burned me with the stove, the burner. She was trying to teach me that I was being bad, breaking my sister's dolls and cutting their hairs off. And then she went to scare me, and I let go, and I grabbed it, and the burner got stuck to my hand. For a long time, I didn't like my mom for that. I just didn't trust her. But then one day, you talk to her. I'll never forget when my mom told me one day, and this wasn't too long ago. Before this was in the last, 8 years, or 10 years maybe before she passed away. I said, you burned my hand. I told her that. We were just having a conversation. You burned my hand, Mom. And this is the first time I ever heard her say. She goes, "I didn't burn you." I said, "But no, you put my hand on the fire." She goes, "Well, you were a bad boy." She told me that. She goes, "You were bad. I didn't know what to do with you. I didn't know how to handle you, I'm a young mom, but you were really bad. You just broke everything. You destroyed everything. It was just very difficult for me. I didn't know how to handle you." She admitted to me for the first time in her life that she hurt me by not saying she hurt me, but not intentionally hurting me. And that was the biggest relief in my heart in that moment, to hear her say, "I didn't know how to raise you. I didn't know how to deal with you." And this is before ADHD, ADD, because I'm pretty sure I had all that. But they didn't have any of that stuff. They didn't have any of that kind of stuff to take care of you back then. That wasn't, I'm talking about the 70s, folks. Okay. I'm a 70s kid, 70s, 80s kid, born in the 60s, 66. We didn't have those kind of medications. They just threw you in a class with other differently abled kids, what we used to call a handicap or mentally retarded children. That's where that's where I was for a while, because I was a hyper kid. I'm a Sagittarian. I'm a Sag, man. Didn't anybody know that? Horoscope? I was a Sag baby Sag. But I was a summer kid who lived in a winter land. And see, people don't understand this. I may be a Sag in December, but I was in summertime in Peru. So my life in the United States when I came here I became a winter Sag because I was a summer Sag. There's a huge difference. I don't care what anybody tells you. When your birthday falls in the summer and you're at the beach, there's a difference versus your birthday falling in the winter and you're rolling making snowmen or staying in the house trying to stay warm. No one takes these things into consideration. No one thinks about this stuff. You know, today we drug our kids because we don't know how to handle them. We don't have the capacity. We don't have the energy to do it. The teachers that we have today, hopefully the younger teachers are better, but the older teachers, you know, who are starting to, you know, retire and stuff, those teachers had a really big struggle with us. I had one teacher, man, who loved to teach. And, you know, I was a challenge for her because I came from a public school that I couldn't read and write very well because I was speaking 2 different languages, trying to read and write 2 different languages. And it was hard for me because in English is very difficult because everything can mean the same thing, but not the same thing. Like deer. Deer is in venison, right? Or deer, oh dear, oh my dear. And not considering this, that, and all those other things and all the different verbs and nouns and conjunctions and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, silent letters. Oh my God, like Colonel. There's no R in Colonel, which doesn't make sense to me. But I had to learn all that. And how did I learn it? Well, I turned on the TV. This is my best teacher. Sesame Street, Electric Company, Zoom. You know, Reading Rainbow came later, but, you know, the count. 1, 2, 3. You know, Oscar the Grouch, Ernie, hey Bert, how you doing, Bert? You know, those were my teachers. Those were my teachers. Those were my teachers, you know. Those were my teachers. But anyhow, you know, this is just where we're at. So 2023 becomes fairly interesting to me because it's new beginnings. That's why we celebrate. That's why we do. That's why we celebrate New Year's Day and New Year's Eve. It gives us a chance to refresh and reset the clock. Yeah, it starts, you know, later. I get it. But for a lot of us, traditionally, we are here now. We're here. We're in this space. We're here. You know, for me, 2023 is, I am dead set that it's going to be different. Last year, this time last year, I was in the hospital sick as you can't even imagine. I was dying in the hospital last year with COVID pneumonia. I am grateful, and I'm also sad at the same time. There were some things that changed along the process because 2 years nothing happened. I was clean, I was good, and then I got sick, and it was hard being in there by yourself. But I'll give thanks to my wife, man, because she stepped up. It didn't matter. You know, we had some emotional moments. We had some arguments and fights. Very, very few, but when that fight was, that was a turning point. And it wasn't about living. It was about just how we weren't collaborating and communicating together over certain parts of our life and our marriage. And, you know, I've told this story and I've told people, I said, it's humbling when you can't wash yourself, you know, when you can't bathe yourself, you can't move, you're so fatigued and tired. But you know what was really interesting is, you know, some people talk about having epiphanies and having this awakening and this special moment, an angel or God or a voice. None of that happened to me. As much as I do all this work and I'm in the metaphysical and the holistic and the work I do, it may have happened to me through the process of people coming and working with me and the angels being the doctors and the nurses, maybe that in that aspect, but there was no visitation. It was just me and my thoughts, man. It was just me thinking about sometimes nothing. Watching the Ohio State basketball game from time to time. Eating. It was really humbling. I didn't have anything too much later. But then, you know, It's what comes next. Get home and you have to fight every single day to get your strength back. Because there'd be days I was strong, and then there'd be days I was just like, because the long COVID would just kick my ass. Then finally, you just have to keep pushing, and I pushed through, and I'd be coughing, and I couldn't even imagine what people thought was happening to me. Because I would have moments where I just had to get up and walk away, because I probably just sounded horrible. But I knew that I had to continue doing the work that I do because this is what centers me. It's what keeps me going. Then eventually you stop. Summer was hard. Fall was hard. I had to tell my students when I was coaching them soccer, here's my inhaler. If I have an asthma attack, just bring me my inhaler. I don't even use it anymore now. Very, very, very low frequency now, if at all. Why? Because I made a decision that I was done. I was poor pity me party, But I needed that. I needed to have the pity party for myself. Believe it or not, I had to sit there and go, woe's me. Why? Because, you give so much to your community. You give so much to your family. You give so much to life. You give so much to this world. You give so much to everything. And you just want one little ounce of recognition from time to time that you're in the right place. And you're doing the right things. And you know what? You get those. You get those messages of affirmation and confirmation. And I was just like, it was just like a really hard time. And then eventually, you know what happens? You watch people take their lives. You watch friends die. You watch people become sick and ill and fight. You watch people compare their COVID to your COVID, and they shame you because you're still struggling. This is a true story. You have people who have compassion for you, for fighting the good battle and support you. And then you have people who turn their back on you because you can't do something. But this is all part of life. This is part of the lessons we learn. I'm not mad at these people. They just are where they're at, But I'll tell you, my breaking point and my transition point was just a few months ago, maybe less than that. Just before Christmas, I was done. I said, no more. I can't do this. I don't know who you are. I don't recognize you. You look like me, but I don't know you. Because the version that I was before did die. That person's gone. That person doesn't exist anymore, okay? And I'll tell you why that person does no longer exist. That Iggy of before served a purpose for the Iggy that was back then. He had to go through that and do the things he did in order to learn. So this Iggy in this moment could be a better version of himself. Listen, I have not eaten fast food, okay, since the day I got out of the hospital. That was last year last January of last year. Okay, I have not had McDonald's. I have not had Burger King, White Castles. I have been tempted. I have been, asked if I wanted, and I said no. Because I saw pictures of myself and the inflammation that it creates in your body. And I saw myself. I wasn't fat. I was inflamed, man. I was like a balloon where there's no air to go. Like I couldn't escape. Yeah, I was jolly and happy and fun, but I could see my struggle. I could see myself not feeling well. I could see it myself. I could see those videos, those pictures of me. I couldn't believe that was me. You guys don't see it because you know me how you see me. But this new incarnation, this new version of myself has to be different. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be different. It has to be better. It has to strive for more, to want more. Listen, I got 20, 30 years tops. I'm 55, I'm 56. My dad died in the 70s. So these numbers are super important. These numbers, like, they shouldn't bother you, but it just means that, you know what? Appreciate what you have, appreciate who you are, appreciate the people who love you. Wake up every morning giving thanks to God, giving thanks to the universe, whatever you pray to, whatever you center with, just giving thanks, man. Ooh, I'm here. Shit. Awesome. If you wake up one day and you don't say that, it's you're not here. But if you wake up one day and you're there and you feel it and you're like, whoa, here I am. Badass. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Whatever. You have to. You have to. And I'm going to tell you, you have to. I'm going to tell you have to because you have to. Have to. Please understand that every breath we take is special. It's very important, very magical. Every breath we take is the magic ingestion of the universal energy into our spirit, into our soul. And I'm thankful for that. But I had to go through all that. If I didn't go through all that, my journey could have been different. Could have been different. Heart disease, kidney failure. Who knows? I don't know. I didn't go that way. That's not the way it went. I got very sick. I knew I had to make some changes. Took longer than I thought. That is for sure. Took longer than I thought. I didn't know it was going to take me that long. A whole year. Some people talk about, oh yeah, it's 3 months, 2 months, 2 weeks, Oh, really? It's taking that long? Why are you taking so long? Just like, it's because my journey is my journey. Your journey is your journey. You will go through what you need to go through and you will learn from what you need to learn. Because that's the only way we learn, right? And that's the way we learn. We don't learn any other way. We learn through the cool stuff. We learn through things that are really nice and cool. Yeah. But when the shit hits us over the head, that's when we learn the most. Why? Because it's impactful. And it reminds us and it sticks to us. And it's like, oh man, I don't like that feeling. I never want that again. And if you've never had problems, hey, congratulations. Because you know what? You're a very unique specimen on this planet. And if you had nothing but problems, congratulations. You're a very unique specimen on this planet too. There's got to be some tear and some release at some point. Anyways, guys, I've said what I wanted to say today. It's not the direction I wanted to go. It's the direction Spirit led me. It's the direction my ancestors took me for me to hear that message and for you to hear what you need to hear. If you heard something you liked and there's some part of it that you enjoyed, take it with you. If not, and if it's just entertainment for you, take it with you. And if it's something that you don't even resonate with, it's okay. But remember, it's good to be here. Remember that. And I always say that. And I mean that when I say that. It's good to be here. It's good to be here. I say that because deep down in the spirit of my soul, it is good to be here. And people joke and say, well, it's good to be there too. Yes, but it's still good to be here because once you get there, you're here. So the now, turn it around, is the one. You have won. When you're in the now, you've won. So be in the present. N-O-W, turn it around, W-O-N, you've won. You're there. Never forget that. It's good to be here, my friends. Peace and love. I will be at the Reiki Center, in Columbus, or in Grandview, Ohio, on January 21st at 7 p.m. drum circle. For those of you who want to participate in a shamanic healing drum circle, join me. If you need more information, everything's on my website at iggygarcia.com. So join me there. Other than that, I appreciate everybody. Thank you very much for your time. This is actually my first live on TikTok, and I don't even know how to turn it off. Which we will find out. This is a learning curve for me because I've never used this platform for a live stream because I couldn't get my Facebook to work to do me live stream. So here I am. This is where the universe took me. This is where the universe wanted me to be. This is where Spirit took me. So I'm laughing over here. So Somebody tell me that this looks like this little off button here. Okay, I'm gonna try that. Okay.